If you made it to 2026, everybody's still in debt, but nobody's discussing why.
I take the ball, I bounce it, I shoot, I miss it.
So as you can tell by the title, everybody's still in debt.
Really?
We're in 2026 now. If you're not a person utilizing credit or in debt because of whatever the reason may be, you're one of the selected few. Most people are taking over credit card debt that they passed on from last year. And if your main goal isn't to get out of debt, then I don't know what to tell you, because everything is getting more expensive.
More than you can afford, pal.
If you're somebody that's dealing with debt, drop it down in the comment section below, whether that be from student loans or whatever the case may be. We're gonna take a look at some of these videos. Stick around.
I'm being sued by a credit card company for $5,000 for not paying the bill.
If you can't afford $1,500 in rent, you should be living behind a Home Depot in a cardboard box.
The biggest difference between working an hourly job and a salary job is the brain space that is occupied when you are off the clock.
There is now 0 states in the US where a minimum wage job is enough to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. Now, whoa, before you go, well, don't work a minimum wage job, go find a better paying job. The whole reason a minimum wage was created was to prevent worker exploitation. The goal was to ensure that even the lowest paid workers could afford basic necessities. The real problem is that it's not even just the minimum wage. Even if you make the average salary in the United States, $66,000 a year, you can still barely get by because the average annual expenses in 2023 was almost $80,000 a year. And we know that in the past 2 years, shit has hit the fan. To have the same purchasing power as the boomers did in the 1970s, a minimum wage job would have to be close to $60 an hour. A minimum wage job. Why don't you go find a $60 an hour job? Let me know how that goes. But no, we shouldn't tax the ultra wealthy and the mega corporations who are creating this crisis, because we should just wait for the money to trickle down into our mouths and all over our body. It's gonna trickle down.
Pause.
This society that we're living in, I talk about it a lot. The wages that you're being paid, it doesn't make sense. You cannot afford to even surpass what you're currently living like.
I don't want to work anymore because I'm working every day very hard, and I never had money.
And most people, they live above their means. But regardless of that, if you're a person that's living on the fringes, or even if you're just like, scraping by, you're being a frugal person, right? It doesn't matter. You're getting paid minimum wage, you're not going to be able to do anything. You would have to have a 2-person household. And even then, with a minimum wage job, it just doesn't make sense. Something needs to be done about this. We need to handle this issue right here. We're not being paid enough. It's not being talked about enough. People need to be talking about it enough, because the future looks very bleak.
I'm being sued by a credit card company for $5,000 for not paying the bill. You know how you don't know what you don't know? Well, I learned this the fucking hard way. I got into a lot of debt being a single mom in nursing school. Like, I really racked my credit cards up surviving, And then when I started making money, I tried really hard to pay them off, but it just I was drowning in it. I just had a really hard time getting out of it. I tried to get a loan and I couldn't get approved for one, so I ended up consolidating all my debt. I did research it. I understood I was going to ruin my credit. I knew that it was going to be bad, but I had just gotten a new car. I had my place. It was fine. I could handle this for a couple years and just have bad credit for a while and then build it back up. And this is my fault for not understanding, but I just didn't know. You have to stop paying on the bills because they won't settle your credit card bills unless there's you're behind on them and there's a need for it. So you just stop paying on them, which felt wrong, but it's what I did. But one of the ones that I owed $5,000 on, which was my biggest one, that was the only one that they didn't shut down, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, what the f do I do? And they were just keep paying us and we'll get it settled. And I was like, okay, this is what I do. Eventually the credit card did get shut down, but I still never got the documentation saying it was settled. And I was like, it'll probably be coming. I just need to build that account up more, whatever. So I've been paying my monthly payments, trying to get it settled. And then today, as I'm sitting in my car, I get served, and I just didn't even know that this was a f***ing option. The credit card company's suing me for the $5,000, but I've also been paying the $5,000 off from the other company. So of course I call them and I spend all morning on the phone with these f***ing people. And they're just well, all we can do is extend your payments out, because obviously they have to make a profit, right? So if it's settled for the amount that it's settled for, then they're not making a profit.
Should you be trusting debt consolidation companies? No, you should not be trusting any of these companies to pay off your own debt.
That's ignorant.
That is something that I feel like a lot of people should already know, but and it's unfortunate because we live in a society now that bankruptcy seems to be the number one thing to do in these situations. Don't get me wrong, I understand why, but do you understand the 7 years it takes to get back from that? It is so detrimental. 7 years is a long time. Now, if you look at the comment section, right? So many people are saying to file bankruptcy, it's crazy. Like, at least one person has sense. Guys, bankruptcy shouldn't be the end all be all to this, or shouldn't be the solution to the situation. It's not something easy to come back from. And we live in a society where people make these things the norm. You shouldn't be thinking this is normal.
So they want mass amounts more money in order to settle this now. But I'm also at the same time being sued and have to go to court over this. And they're now telling me like, oh, well, you won't have to go to court if you just extend your payments to us. But like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. I can't afford a fucking lawyer. I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. And it's just one of those things that feels like I tried so hard. Like, I got myself through nursing school as a single mom, and it was really fucking hard. And I've been trying so hard to get ahead. And every time something happens, it's just like this. Like, I'm never gonna be okay. And it's one of those times I wish I just had a family member I could call to rescue me. But I don't.
Just a bunch of life situations that hit you when you're dealing with it by yourself, and the game is already rigged on hard mode. People don't realize that they have access to family, they have access to a whole bunch of things that may be able to save them in these situations. But when you don't have none of that, it makes it really tough.
If you can't afford $1,500 in rent, you should be living behind a Home Depot in a cardboard box. At least that's what my friend said, right? So we're in a group chat talking about like, hey, like he's like trying to rent out one of his apartments because he's getting married, gonna move into the house. He's like, hey, I can't find anybody to rent my place for $1,500. I'm paying $2,000. I'd be willing to risk $500 a month, but nobody could afford it. Like, is everybody just broke? I'm like, bro, think about this for a second. $1,500. Let's say you make $25 an hour, right? $25 an hour is roughly like almost $50,000 a year, or it's a little over $50,000 a year. That's like $4,000 a month before taxes are taken out. You're probably gonna be at like $2,800 after taxes taken out. So if you had to pay $1,500 in rent, you're talking about over half your money. So you only have $1,200, $1,300 left over for utilities, groceries, car, insurance. I was like, most people won't be able to afford that. Even though like you made it work, but do you know how hard it is? We started thinking about how hard it is to even get a job at $25 an hour. Like, even though we're in California, $20 an hour for fast food, getting that extra $5 is extremely hard.
I put out a video on my actual channel where I was discussing how people can't live off of $20 an hour. I could certainly not do it. Most people they're coming into a job with debt. So until you get out of that debt, you're not in a positive situation until then. People get cars, and a lot of people don't learn from their situations until after they're in it. I'm not a person that's gonna kick somebody while they're down. If you don't know something, you're just ignorant to it. Now, if you see somebody do the behavior multiple times, then you're stupid. That's your fault.
Use your common sense.
When you're ignorant to something and you don't have access and you have low credit and you don't have the ability to have credit, you're gonna pay the most for anything. And just one thing can ruin your whole life, especially a car.
The biggest difference between working an hourly job and a salary job is the brain space that is occupied when you are off the clock. Or at least that's my personal experience. When you're working an hourly job, so for example, my husband is a blue-collar union worker. He's paid hourly. He does do things like overtime and on-call or beeper work, but in general, he works a shift. He's in, he's out. And when he's out, he's out. No one's calling, no one's texting, there's no emails, there's no pings, there's nothing. He's done, he's out, right? However, for me, I'm a salaried employee, morning, noon, night, all around the clock because we're in all different time zones. I am getting emails, I'm getting pings, I'm getting phone calls, whatever it might be, right? And no, maybe I'm not expected to answer them at that given moment, but they're coming. They're just like constantly coming at you. And for a lot of us with anxiety or stress around these things, right? Like the idea of having to wake up to just hundreds of emails, it's a lot. And then things like vacation, right? Like when we go on vacation, my husband is on vacation. He's blissfully on vacation. I am still often asked to join calls. I'm still often asked to respond to emails, albeit slowly, right? Like there's different expectations. And then if you do fully sign off for those that go on a 2-week or a 1-week vacation, you're going to come back to an inbox that is just absolutely destroyed, but also expected to work as if that didn't happen, right? Like there needs to be a rework of this system.
Why is no one talking about how available you have to be once you cross over from being an hourly employee into being a salary employee? Everybody know when you're an hourly employee, that overtime is the best thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I clock in, I clock out, I go home, I see y'all tomorrow. When I go home, don't fucking email me and tell me nothing that you can tell me tomorrow when I got to clock the fuck back in. Once you cross over to being a salary employee, they already paid you. They emailing you all types of the night. They emailing you on your off days. And woo, they emailing you on vacation. Hey, John, when you get back, we have to discuss this at the meeting. Hey, John, hey, John, hey, John. Bitch, I am at home not thinking about y'all. Why the f*** is y'all emailing me?
Hourly, salary, whichever way you want to go about it, it doesn't make a difference. You're still going to be signed up to a place that can cut you whenever they choose to. You shouldn't want to work a job that you have to come home and literally have to work more. You that constant stress, that thing. If you're a person that can deal with that, kudos to you, because I'm not a person that wants to take work home unless I'm doing that thing to benefit myself, because it's something you're building for you. If you're building somebody else's dream and you're a robot. You're a robot. That's it. And that's what they want. They're going to replace you with AI. Guys, I appreciate you coming back to the channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. And if you guys like this type of debt content, I do have a playlist as well. So if you want to catch that, go ahead and watch that. I'll see you guys on the next one.
I don't know who need to hear this, but the main focus should be getting out of debt. Like your main focus should be figuring out a way to pay off the debt. I know myself personally, the last couple of years, I've been slowly digging my way out of piles of debt from buying my house, you know what I'm saying, and getting a new car a couple of years ago. And that debt is the devil, man.